Loving God, as we come together here, we gather on holy ground, ground that is made holy by your presence. Tonight we celebrate not only the work and the achievements of the class of 2023, but also the individuals themselves who have grown together over these years under the guidance and direction of your Spirit. While it is hard to let go of those who have become so special to us, we know that it is also good and it is time for them to move on with new direction and new enthusiasm.
Next year, I'm going to Villanova University to study public administration. My favorite BSM experience is working with Dr. Poland, a part of the CARES internship, and I'm going to be a cat, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year, I'm going to Colorado State University in Fort Collins to study health and exercise science. My favorite BSM experience was winning state for basketball. I'm going to be a Ram, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year, I'm going to Carleton College to study political science. One of my favorite BSM memories is attending the homecoming football games. I feel like those were the best times to hang out with friends and enjoy watching football.
I'm going to the University of Notre Dame to study international relations, international economics, and Romance languages and literatures as part of the Glynn Family Honors Program. One of my favorite BSM experiences was taking Advanced Placement European History with Miss Roman. I'm going to be a Fighting Irish, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Creighton University to study business. One of my favorite BSM memories is this year's homecoming football game. I'm going to be a Blue Jay, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Marquette University to study nursing. One of my favorite experiences at BSM was being a part of Link Crew. I'm going to be a Golden Eagle, but I will always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Creighton University to study biochemistry on a pre-med track. And one of my favorite BSM memories is hanging out with my swim team before our meets. And I'm going to be a J, but I'll always be a red knight.
I'll be studying at the University of Minnesota next year, majoring in biology. My favorite Benilde memory is just going to the sports games and cheering on my classmates with my friends.
Next year I'm going to Purdue. I'll be studying aviation management, and I think my favorite experience at BSM was probably hanging out in the engineering lab. And then one of my favorite BSM memories was probably Baguette Day.
Next year I'm going to the University of California, Davis to study food science. One of my favorite BSM memories was playing Uno with the AP Chem class, and I'm going to be an Aggie, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Marquette University to study finance and real estate. One of my favorite BSM memories was winning a state championship my sophomore year.
Next year I'll be going to Providence College to study marketing. One of my favorite BSM memories was Mr. Krieger's sports and entertainment marketing class. And next year I'm going to be a friar, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to study at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts to study biology on the pre-med track. And one of my favorite BSM memories has been going to state for cross country.
Next year I'm going to Grand Canyon University to study graphic design. And one of my favorite BSM memories is going to Wolfridge in 8th grade. I'm going to be a Lope, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Butler University to study business management. One of my favorite BSM memories is all the dances that we've had, and I'm going to be a Bulldog, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Loyola University in Chicago to study communications. My favorite experience at BSM was the San Antonio choir trip, and I'm going to be a Rambler, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Drake University to study criminal law. One of my favorite BSM memories is my senior homecoming football game. I'm going to be a Bulldog, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to St. Olaf College to study English. My favorite BSM experience was getting second at the volleyball state tournament this year. I'm going to be an Ole, but I'll always be a red knight.
I'll be majoring in English next year at San Diego State University. My favorite memory this year would have been prom night, which was pretty fun. I'm going to be an Aztec next year, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to University of Wisconsin-Madison to study finance. And one of my favorite BSM memories is attending Wolfridge camp in 8th grade. Really got to hang out with friends away from school, just really fun.
Next year I'm going to Boston College to study psychology and journalism. My favorite BSM memory was winning the state dance team tournament with my Knights in 2022. I'm going to be an Eagle, but I'll always be a red knight.
Next year I'm going to Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota. I'm going to be studying a double major in music and music theater. And I think my favorite memory here would be honestly just all the things and the moments I've made with theater and music here. So that's been amazing.
Next year I'm going to University of Denver to study finance and accounting. One of my favorite BSM memories is getting 4th place at state for softball. And I'm going to be a Pioneer next year, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be studying business at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And my favorite memory from high school is winning state with the baseball team.
Next year I'm going to Fordham University to study political and environmental science. One of my favorite BSM memories is going to state this year with the mock trial team. And I'm going to be a Ram, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
Next year I'll be going to the University of San Diego to study political science on an Army ROTC scholarship. My favorite BSM memory was probably AP Physics this year. It was very funny.
Next year I'm going to study pre-dentistry at Northeastern in Boston. My favorite BSM experience was probably winning the conference finals for Frisbee, and I just want to say, play Frisbee.
Next year I'm going to Loyola Marymount University to study in the film school and journalism. My favorite Benilde experience was winning the state championship with my basketball team this year, and I'm going to be a Lion, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
Next year I'm going to University of Wyoming to study agriculture. One of my favorite BSM memories is winning the mountain bike state tournament as a team this year.
Next year I'm going to University of Northern Iowa to study psychology and physical education. One of my favorite BSM memories is meeting all the great teachers. I'm going to be a Panther, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Hoosier, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Bulldog, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
And even though I'm going to be a Wildcat, I'm always going to be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Golden Eagle, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
Going to be a Husky, but I will always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Boilermaker, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be Crusader, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Nor'easter, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
Next year I'll be a Gopher, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Flames, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Torero, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
I'm going to be a Carl, but I'll always be a Red Knight.
Although I'm going to be a Badger, I'll always be a Red Knight.
Class of 2023, thank you for leading the school this year. I've been amazed at your individual talents and humbled by your collective spirit. BSM is a better place because of the class of 2023. In fact, I can say that in all my time as a president of a Catholic school, you are the best senior class I've ever had.
So finally, to the class of 2023, remember your core functions, the values of BSM, and lastly, once a Red Knight, always a Red Knight.